My name is Anthony Chaps Rawlins. In 2015, I went to work. I was a truck driver at the Port Authority, driving those fifth-wheel trucks. While driving the truck, they called me to go to a meeting, so I had to pack up the truck and go to the meeting. After the meeting was concluded, I started returning back to the truck. But there was a flight of stairs. On approaching the stairs, I started to stumble. But there was this guy who normally runs off the step. His name is Kenny. He normally runs off the step and go. But this day, I don't know what happened. He just stand up on the bottom of the stairs. By the time I started stumbling, he put his hand in my chest, like that. He said, "Chaps, what happened to you?" I said, "But I may know. But you ain't look so good." Then he took me back into the office and put me to sit in a chair. While they're sitting in the chair, another guy came in again and said, "Chaps, what is happening to you? You ain't look good, your face twisting." That's when I realized something was really wrong. So they called for the ambulance from the Port Authority, but the ambulance didn't come on time, so they took me in the Jeep, in one of the Port Authority Jeeps, and took me to the hospital. On reaching in the hospital, the doctors keep asking me, "Did you fall?" I tell him no. But he asked me repeatedly, "Did you fall?" I told him no. But I guess he was asking me that to see, well, then if I might have forgotten that I fell. The repeated question was to make sure that I did not fall. Because had I fell, what happened to me would have been much worse. While at the hospital, they run a couple tests. Then they sent me to do a head scan. But I had to pay $800 before I was able to do the head scan. Hadn't my wife had any money, we could never get it done, because I don't understand why these things, if a man is sick at the time, I don't see the reason why he have to pay that amount of money if he don't have it. So then if I didn't have the $800, they might have let me die, but my wife had it at the time, so she paid it. They did this scan and they found there was no blood bleeding in my brain, because that was the reason for them to do the head scan, to see if I had bleeding in my brain. So there was no blood. So they took me back down to the medical that's in outpatient, continue running their tests. So when they told me that I had a stroke, and chances are it was a massive stroke. Chances are I would have problems later on in life, but basically what happened at that point in time. I spent 2 weeks at the hospital. But before I go that far, the very same day this happened to me, this thing happened in the morning on the 25th of September 2015, around say 11 o'clock or so, 10:30, 11. But I had an appointment to see the doctor that very same day. But the appointment was for 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I guess what is to be will be. You know, it hasn't been easy ever since. After the 2 weeks in the hospital, I went home. They actually told my wife to take me to put me in a home, because I wouldn't be no use to myself again. That's what I told my wife. She must try and put me in the Granger in another nursing facility, because I won't be no use to myself again. But she tell them, "No, I'm going to look after my husband." And she did that. She took me home. And every day from work, she would get, normally she worked in a factory, Lutheran, she used to work in Lutheran at the time. Normally they would give Lutheran workers a half an hour for lunch. But because of what happened to me, her boss, which is the owners of Lutheran at the time, were here. They gave her an hour to come home, look after me, and then go back to work. So she did that every day. Because I was home for a year, couldn't move at all. I was just in bed laying down for a whole year. Can't move, can't help myself, can't do nothing. Nothing I could have done for myself. I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit. And in order for me to be fed, somebody would have to feed me. This went on for a year. Then I got a therapist who used to come and help me. During the time, he helped me get back on my feet. Actually, at first, when I started, I couldn't stand, so he used to put me in a walker, help me to stand up, and sometimes I would only be able to stand for about a minute, sometimes 2. Then I would fall back on the bed because there was no strength in my legs. But constantly doing therapy over and over again, I became stronger and stronger until I was able to put one leg forward a little bit. I put a rail in my house from by the front door right down to the passage door to go into the bedroom, bathroom area, where I would hold on to that rail and walk from one end to the other end slowly every day. He had me doing this over and over again so that I was actually learning to walk again. After time I was able to do that, then he took me outside and said, we're going to try to go down the steps now. First time I tried to go down the steps, I stumbled and he held me up. But it was a very tedious process. I actually learned to maneuver the stairs after a while. We had 1, 2, 3 flights of stairs to get from my veranda to the on the walkway. 3 flights of stairs, and he helped me. I got that done. Then, in order for me to go anywhere, I had to go in a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. The distance is like take 4 or 5 steps at a time, but without help, I couldn't do that. So I had to be in a wheelchair to get to go from place to place. Then I moved from the wheelchair to the walker, started pushing the walker and walking from place to place. Then from the walker, I went to a cane. But each time I moved from one equipment to the next, I would give away the equipment I had before. So I gave away the wheelchair, then I gave away the walker, and then I eventually ended up around by the SKNAPD. That's the Sinkers and Nevis Persons with Disabilities, Living with Disabilities. I ended up around there, and there was a very kind soul around there who gave me a rollator, which I started using on a regular basis. A cane, which I have here. Let me show you what the cane looks like. It's a 4-prong cane. Yeah. Started using the cane, which I still do because from time to time my left knee would get real weak, and if I'm not careful I would fall over. But so far, let me knock wood, it hasn't happened. I give God thanks because He has been with me. God is my strength. I can do anything through God who strengtheneth me. So I would just like to say thanks be to God for His protection and for His mercies each and every day. Well, my recovery have been going real smoothly. I can move my hands a little bit, but my leg and my whole left side was dead actually. My left hand and my left foot was very hard to move. Still at this point in time, I still get tingles in my left fingers, like if someone touches my left hand, sometimes my hand would jump, vigorously, because there are still tingles in my left hand, especially in my fingers area. I still cannot put it right up in the air on its own. I have to use my other hand to carry it up, as you could see. But eventually it would reach up. So like I said, I'm truly grateful to God for His loving kindness and for His tender mercies. I'm also driving at the moment. It took me about 2015. I started driving again in 2018 because I was home for a year. That's up until 2016. Then it took me another 2 years to get back behind the wheel of a vehicle. At first I wasn't confident, but then I told my wife, just let me drive around the block and see how it is. So she went with me, we drove around the block and it wasn't too bad. And then after that I started driving more and more, so now I could go anywhere I want to go. I just get in my vehicle and drive, go there, come out, do what I have to do. But trust me, it's not an easy road, and I would never wish this on no one. Not even on my worst enemy. I would wish what happened to me for them, because I cried many tears. It's really dehumanizing when you're in this condition, because people look at you as if, well, then you're not human. They look at you as if, well then, well, you don't want to sit down here and see you're disabled. But the thing is, if you do that, if you sit down because people think you should sit down, it's going to be very bad for you. You have to keep moving, because the more you move, is the better you will become. I would like to say thanks to my beautiful wife for always being there for me, because if it wasn't for her help and the help of my children, because they also have been there for me. My family have always been there for me. There are friends that used to come from Nevis when I was sick at first. Used to come down from Nevis to help me to kind of get through, because like I said, at times, in order for me to come outside, they used to have to bring me out, put me on the veranda to sit sometimes. My own friends I had here in St. Kitts, God bless them, but they never used to come check for me. When I say friends, I mean the friends I used to drink with, because I used to drink down the ferry terminal. I used to drink a lot with them. And when this happened, they said they would come, but none of them, they never did come. But I'm truly thankful still anyway. Me and them, we still good. I still call out to them. I still talk with them. I have no enemies. No, I don't drink. I don't drink anymore. Try to keep I try to stay focused on my medication. I think that's one of the things that have helped me. And eating correctly now. I don't eat things like rice, and so I mean, I never used to eat bread for a long time, but I started again, so I still have to get back to cutting that back out. But I don't eat rice, period. Certain types of religions I don't eat. I would eat fish. I would eat a piece of chicken now and again, but not every day. Or at times my wife would cook. When she cooking for them, she would cook another pot for me, which I would call ital. There is no salt added, so that my healing process could continue. Because up to now I'm still healing, I'm still trying to get over this. But like I said before, it was not easy, but I give God all the glory. Yes, depression set in more than once, but you just got to try and stay positive. Because if you let the depression come on you too much, then you wouldn't do nothing. You just want to stay there in bed and do nothing. I've fought depression a lot. At times I even felt, Lord, why you didn't just take my life at the time when it happened? And I'm being honest. When this year happened and I realized the kind of condition I was in, I was wondering, why didn't I just died? But now I'm grateful because I'm able to help someone else. And that's another thing. When this thing happened, my daughter was 5 years. So I thank God that I'm able to see her. She finished with high school now and she's on her way to college. You know, she wants to become a doctor, and I want to be there for whenever she has graduated, to tell her, well then, God bless you, all the best. She's doing very good in school. My son is a mechanic at the breweries, so they're both doing fine. My wife is a line worker at the Jaro Industrial Site Factory, for which she's also doing real good.